spindly, creepy, unsettling, skittering. These are some of the words and feelings that come to mind when you think about the 8-legged arachnids that plague many of our nightmares. It is no wonder that spiders are used in many forms of media as elements of horror bent on introducing fear into our hearts. Video games are no exception, especially when it comes to The Legend of Zelda. One of the most recognizable monsters plaguing the land of Hyrule is the unholy combination of a spider with a human skull as its abdomen, called the sculltula. The giant bone spider looms above the ground, hanging from the branches of the trees or a ceiling for hours on end, waiting silently for its prey to unknowingly walk underneath its death trap. And when the prey is in position, it swiftly and accurately swoops down to entangle its next meal in a matter of seconds. With the sheer size of the sculltula ranging from 1 to over 5 feet in diameter, one finds themselves very thankful that they only exist inside a video game, as they are absolutely large enough to consume an unwitting human being that just so happened to walk under the wrong branch. The game that introduced these horrific arachnids to the world was none other than Ocarina of Time, which is a legendary Zelda title well known by fans for its darker undertones. See what I mean? In the village of Kakariko, which at one point was inhabited solely by the mysterious Sheikah tribe, there stands a house that has long since been abandoned by its inhabitants, or so the villagers would like to believe. You see, what crawls along the floors and walls of that lonely house is neither man nor beast, but the cursed family of half-human, half-sculltula amalgamations. For those familiar with the game, you'll recall that this family is the reason that the gold sculltula enemies exist. Their curse is somehow bound to the existence of this subspecies of sculltula. Once all 100 of these golden spiders have been killed throughout the land of Hyrule, and their tokens have been retrieved, the family's curse can be broken. But over the past 2 decades, even though there have been countless theories covering why or how the sculltula family became cursed to begin with, one that has seldom been mentioned is who exactly cursed them. In this year's Halloween special, which you're currently watching, I'm going to cover all of it. So turn out your lights, pay no attention to the figure standing behind you, and follow me into the House of the Skulltula. As far as the family's origin is concerned, there are some who believe that they are in fact members of the Sheikah clan along with the original villagers who inhabited Kakariko. This theory is mainly built upon the facts that they are in Kakariko and they possess the Stone of Agony, which is known to be the companion item to the Lens of Truth, the former revealing secret grottos by vibrating the Nintendo 64 controller and the latter revealing hidden areas, false walls, and even invisible enemies at the cost of magic power. It is easy to assume the two objects are related, but I don't necessarily believe this immediately confirms the family's Sheikah ties. In my opinion, their human appearances disprove any possible ties they might have. After all, the stone could have simply been stolen by the greedy family regardless of affiliations. Their hair is red and their eyes are shown to be blue in the 3DS remake of the game, both features that contrast the Sheikah's iconic white hair and red eyes. Their clothing and furniture also completely lack any Sheikah symbolism, and since their house is largely in the same condition as all the other surrounding buildings, plus or minus a few boarded up windows, I think this means that the family moved into and visibly lived in the house after Kakariko was open to the public, therefore leaving no room for the house to have been abandoned since the original Sheikah days. Judging from their furniture's design and their human appearances, they were most likely Hylian settlers that arrived once Impa opened the village to the public. Just your average, shady, filthy rich family. Now, as far as how they happened to get themselves cursed, the most obvious answer is given to us by the old man in Ocarina of Time. If you speak to him at night as adult Link inside the house at the bottom of the stairs, he tells you of a fabulously rich family in the village that became cursed due to their greed. An obvious reference to the cursed Skulltula family. There is no clear reason to not believe his words, as if you speak to him while he's walking around outside in the daytime, his information about the location of the Lens of Truth is also correct. the bottom of the well. The family's reputation for riches goes beyond even the walls of Kakariko. If you speak to the Zora salesman in the Zora's Domain shop, he will remark that the Zora armor's fine quality makes it very expensive, and that only the very rich family of Kakariko Village could afford to purchase it. But while it's one thing to be known for your riches and achieve fame throughout your successes, it's a completely different situation when you mix in the greed factor. Logically speaking, the only way someone would appear immorally greedy is if they acted on it. In real life, we would call this stealing. In this case, what makes the most sense to me is that the rich family became so rich and famous through their acts of greed, or rather, through thievery. This doesn't really matter much, but the father of the family was even designed to look, well, kind of sleazy in my opinion. But either way, I think this family of con artists, being used to making shady deals and stealing their way to riches, made one deal that they soon came to regret deeply. The father of the family, once his human form is regained, states that he will try to not get cursed again, meaning the transformations were obviously not his intent, but rather an accident based on what he was doing. But to explain this deal, I have to jump from Ocarina of Time to another, more mature and dark Zelda title, Twilight Princess. In Twilight Princess, there is a very similar curse made to a very similar individual in Hyrule Castle Town named Giovanni. This man made a deal for more money and was turned into money himself. Solid gold, actually. His curse is also a familiar one. Link must find and destroy 100 imp pose and Giovanni's curse will be broken. The pattern here is almost completely identical, except for instead of spiders made out of gold being created because of the curse, Giovanni himself was made into gold. Two parties making greedy deals and receiving a terrifyingly twisted curse because of it. The curses of the Skulltula family and the curse of Giovanni are so similar to one another that I happen to believe they may have been created by the same individual, as do many others. However, the individual in question here is where opinions differ amongst theorists. So what I am going to do in this video is present to you 3 different possibilities for the one who placed the curses, and if you would, please let me know in the comments below which one makes the most sense to you. The first possibility would be taken from the words of a child in Hyrule Castle Town in Twilight Princess, who states that Giovanni's soul was taken by the imps. This is a reference to the imp pose that each must be destroyed to free Giovanni's soul. But if the implication here is that he made his golden deal with said pose, as the Zeldapedia wiki also states, this would have to be the same deal brokered for the Skulltula family of Ocarina of Time. In other words, pose or ghosts are the first possibility who may have cursed the family after a deal was made with them. The second possibility is the demon of Hateno Village from Breath of the Wild. Trapped within a statue, this wicked individual spends whatever time people will give him brokering deals to manipulate the life forces of his clients. If this individual, who calls himself a god that governs life and power, is really a demon or other supernatural being, there's no reason to believe he couldn't have been alive long ago in the age of Ocarina of Time. He admits that people normally ask him for riches, and his cynical nature leads me to believe that he may have promised riches in gold to the Skulltula family and to Giovanni, but twisted their fulfillment into the golden spiders and golden skin for his own sick amusement. The counter-argument could be made that he does not make similar kinds of deals in Breath of the Wild, but it's clear to me that since he's been sealed inside of a statue by Hylia herself, he may just be in a weakened state and unable to perform the same kinds of curses he used to. I mean, I'd imagine that's why Hylia sealed him inside a statue in the first place. The third and final possibility is that the deal was made with an unknown being. This sounds like a strange choice, but hear me out. If Poe's holding Giovanni's curse means that Giovanni made a deal with a Poe or Poes, then logically speaking, the golden spiders that hold the Skulltula family's curse would mean that the Skulltula family made a deal with golden spiders, or maybe just one. You see, in their house there are still a few portraits hanging on the far side of the wall. While most of them are just pictures of creepy individuals or landscapes, one picture in particular sticks out and raises some questions. They appear to have a picture of a golden Skulltula hanging on their wall, one that looks slightly different than the models that appear in-game. If they began their transformations immediately following their golden deal, they wouldn't have been able to hang these pictures after the curse, meaning for some reason they already knew about the golden sculltulas. What if there is or was one of these spiders in particular that they attempted to make a deal with for more gold, like a spider deity of some sort similar to the golden goose of fairy tale? There is absolutely no evidence to support this spider's existence other than the similar pattern for Giovanni and the picture hanging on the wall, but you have to admit, it's definitely more than odd that it's there. So, which possibility is it? Was it a Poe, a mysterious spider, the demon of Hateno Village, or something else entirely? Let me know what you think in a comment below. Also, thank you so much for watching the Halloween special this year, and a huge thanks to everyone for getting the channel to 100,000 subscribers. I will be doing something special to properly celebrate this milestone, so stay tuned for that coming up. Also, enormous thanks as always to my fantastic supporters, of which I have a new face to announce. Say hello to Merlin, who recently joined the ranks of my personal heroes. If you're interested in earning my eternal gratitude and helping the next video come to life, check out that join button below every video or follow the links in the description below to find out how. Also, be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed this video to get it spread around on YouTube space, and make sure you're subscribed to stick around for all the Nintendo goodness to come. Also, down in the description are links to my social media pages, so please feel free to stop on by and say hi. That's all I've got for this one, so I hope you have a very spooky Halloween. This is MaskedNintendoBandit signing out. Peace!